in position first. And so now this game, what do you do against that?
We'll have to see what they're able to do this time around. LGD will be on the blue side for the second match of this best of five series. Newbee will be starting on the red side for game number 2. Already we can see a change up in bans as Vladimir, Poppy, and Twisted Fate are the 3 bans that come out from LGD, whereas Cogmore and Rumble are the first two bans that come out from Newbee.
As I said, I'm not too concerned with the banning of banning Nidalee as long as they have an answer. Intruder has played Kha'Zix. That is a good 1v1 matchup if Kha'Zix does get the jump, so I'm fine with that specifically. But you just have to have something. I'm not too happy with Rek'Sai, especially if you have lanes that don't really go your way.
And immediately this time round, Nah has been left open as the first pick, and LGD snatched that one up immediately from Marin. They've seen that not only can V take it away from him, but also do well on the champions, and they snatched it up immediately. Newbee looking for their first 2 picks in this match.
Yeah, I mean, I love Marin on Gnar every single time, even in losing games, where he's always in the right position, always has a great stack on his Gnar bar, and always putting out some really stellar Gnar ultis. And that just comes back to a lot of LGD top laners, is that they just are great Gnars. We saw it in Flame, we saw it in Acorn just a little bit. So just seems something about LGD just attracts Gnar players.
Immediately Newbee, they lock in Ashe and Braum, the mustache lane, in the bottom lane for Newbee. 2 very powerful picks and 2 very strong utility-based champions.
Yeah, Ashe, Braum, very great stellar picks in terms of just creating a lot of pick potential, but at the same time, stability in your lane. I know that EDG love going towards this lane, or even just Ashe Alistar, because you win out your lane, you have that constant push, and you can always look to get a pick or 2.
Still waiting to see what LG to respond with the next 2 picks in their rotation. This is a promotion match, so the winner of this best of 5 series does head back into the 2017 spring split of the LPL. The loser, however, will still have another fighting chance as they do go up against Starhorn Royal Club in a couple of days to fight for the final spot heading back into the LPL. LGD, they're going to be locking in Siva again for Imp, and this time around they pick up a Karma to head into game number 2 against Newbee.
So they know exactly which support they're going into. It is a flex on the Karma, but they're likely leaning towards putting that into the support position. So I do like this. They have a constant shove in the bottom lane. Put Imp back on the Sivir pick, and you will see a lot of just nice shove safety. He's going to farm up very well, and we'll go back to that nice 6-item win condition.
Win condition?
Yeah.
What happened last game, Raz? He got 6 items.
Well, guess what? Enemy team had 6 items too.
So waiting to see what Newbee going to lock in as their next 2 picks. Seems like, again, they're going to be hiding their mid lane pick for last. Looking to lock in the next 2 champions. And again, Raz, Nidalee was not banned out. So Newbee decided, you know what? Let's pick up Nidalee. Swift will be playing that champion heading into the jungle. V will be picking up Maokai in the top lane.
Yeah, but LGD did well in holding their jungle pick. They must have an answer. They know very well that if they have the jungle pool, and if they're leaving up the Nidalee, that Kha'Zix does really well into that Nidalee pick. So the fact that hey, Intruder has shown great games on the pick, that I'd like to see him play.
Yep, he's had 2 matches on this champion, and it's constantly banned out against LGD because of how good he is. And it was even, his breakout game for LGD, picked up MVP on this Kha'Zix. Meanwhile, they do lock in Trundle, and that should be a top lane, not a top lane Trundle coming out for them. It should be a support Trundle coming out for Newbee, as Karma will be heading into the mid lane for Wayless. And Marin will be taking Gnar up into the top lane, and it will be the lock-in of the Kha'Zix, so that should be a jungle Kha'Zix for Intruder.
I'm a fan of that because I do think that if you are picking up the Kha'Zix, you want a bit more shielding, a little bit more safety. They can't pick the Shen because they did pick Gnar for the top lane. So a little more, a little stronger of a shield for the Karma if she's going mid lane. So that means that we do see 3 carry threats on this side of LGD. They do have a great split push potential with Gnar up against the Maokai. And of course the Sivir and Kha'Zix outputting a lot of damage, so I want to see how it works out for them.
Still waiting to see what Newbee's final pick is going to be. It will be the mid laner for Dade to get that last pick up against the Karma. We did see him play Twisted Fate last game into the Syndra that Wayless picked up. Yeah, he was hovering over this champion before he switched to the Twisted Fate.
No, he would have to pick Victor right now because his team lacks a lot of damage. Ashe does deal an okay amount of damage, not a lot, You bringing in Maokai just the same. So your Nidalee pick, sure, she deals a lot of poke. Maybe if she's far enough ahead that she can go for the Lich Bane. But once you look through your composition, you need that brunt, strong force of damage, and that would be a great answer just putting in the Victor.
And they do lock in the Victor immediately, so Victor will be heading into the mid lane for Dade. We'll have to see how he does against Wayless's Karma, a champion that I don't think we have seen him play just yet. We'll have to see how he uses it in this match. No, he has not played Karma yet in the LPL, so we'll have to see how Wayless does on this championship. We see teams like Vici flex around in the mid lane and support.
Wayless just has such a weird pull that you can definitely tell what he has and hasn't played because...
Tell you what, he's played 4 champions so far that have barely been picked up by anyone else in the LPL. That's how weird this Wayless is.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to remember when it comes to Wayless. But I do love both compositions. It's an interesting look for Newbee. I want to see how it works out for him, and especially for the Maokai pick. If he's able to get the proper flanks, that's going to be the main focus for me.
But we will be able to find out how this team comp works for Newbee because we are heading back into Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between LGD and Newbee. We are on to Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between Newbee and LGD. Newbee surprised everyone and were able to take down LGD in game number 1 of this best of 5 series. It is the promotion match, Raz, so the winner of this series will be heading back into the LPL for Spring Split 2017. And once again, Swift, he's gotten his Nidalee here, but Intruder this time around has picked up a Kha'Zix, a champion he is well and truly known for in the LPL.
Yeah, as we might see a pick coming in rather early.
And looking for V, they will get the slowdown with the Gnar. V just uses his flash nice and early to get back to the safety of his turret.
Yeah, that works out at the end of the day. But now that means Kha'Zix has a lot more of a leeway in this early game. So yeah, going back into this Kha'Zix pick, he has shown a lot of success on it. And big point for Nidalee is that Nidalee can never look to out-skirmish a Kha'Zix early on. Definitely, especially not after level 6 once he does end up ranking his Q early. So right now it's going to be based on what Swift intends to do, what he looks to do early, because if he does go up against, if he does look to invade Intruder, he might end up going up against a strong right fist.
So once again, we are on 6.15, so we will see standard lanes come out from these teams. Very rare to see lane swaps in general at 6.15. I don't think, well, I personally have not seen it take place on any region so far.
Yeah, this isn't a lane swap. It's just a good look to get the red buff early.
So we see multiple cans being started by laners here. Wayless takes away the small Raptor can to start things off and just starts to auto-attack harass the Victor, who stutter steps his way back against Wayless. Both bottom lane duos started on a camp at level 1. Intruder started at Grump, where Swift this time around starts at his red buff.
Yeah, Swift kind of needed to start on his red buff. If he started on Grump, had that leash on his, Krugs, then he had his red buff warded out. That means Kha'Zix does have the freedom to then walk up and challenge his red buff and look to that skirmish. Swift would not be in position to really defend it. So that was a good look to play a little bit defensive early.
Smart call from Swift. He's going to continue jungling through this. We saw last game where, as the approach to blue buff, he got pretty low, but was able to heal up with his heals once he takes that one down. Intruder now working on his red buff, went from Grump to blue, now straight to red. Going fairly low as well. We'll be killing out the small minions wherever he can to try and get extra isolate damage onto the red buff. Sodi will take that one down for himself. Swift already takes his blue buff, so even juggling even faster than the Kha'Zix. Heals himself up, back nice and healthy. To move towards the top side of the map, Marin trying to zone out V wherever he possibly can. Will hit Mega in a second. V did burn his flash at level 1, so he's vulnerable for quite some time on Summoner's Rift.
Exactly. So that's going to be a nice focus. It might not mean too much, V is just probably going to cop the pressure and just play back to his turret. Maybe miss out in a few CS. So there's not much pressure in terms of how he plays it out early.
There's actually Marin getting jumped on the top side of the map. Swift has moved up here, so they're trying to get a gank on towards LGD's top lane. A spear will not connect, and he flashes as far away as he possibly can. They're still hunting him down. Kha'Zix will continue the chase to try and back up his top laner, but a good look comes out from Swift and blows the flash from LGD's top laner.
Now that is going to be a lot more impactful simply because Marin in this position, especially up against Maokai, is going to be looking up to constantly shove out that lane. So if he's going to be looking to do that, then he's always going to be showing up a lot of vulnerabilities in terms of just being able to get ganked. So now he needs to watch out.
He's actually going to find Intruder in the jungle here. It's a red buff Kha'Zix. Swift tries to take him on. Immediately knows that he can't fight the Kha'Zix for too long. A Ghost coming out to the mid lane. Dade and Wayless just run next to each other trying to help their junglers. Intruder gets first blood. Now Dade's in trouble. Intruder gets a very early double kill for LGD.
What was he doing? Remember, right fist. You met the right fist. Do not invade and skirmish a Kha'Zix. Don't do it. There's a reason why he picked the Kha'Zix into you to begin with. He was looking to get that counter pick, and he got it successfully. And so that was a fight that Swift looked for, and now Swift swiftly regrets.
Marin, though, trying to fight V on the top side of the map. Grass is going to heal him back up a little bit here, but he's still trying to abuse the manaless Maokai on the top side of the map, who does have his flash back up and available. Bottom side, Imp and PYL just doing what they can to push the wave deep on towards Happy and Moore's turret, forcing them to farm against the minion wave.
Now you're going up against a 2-0 Kha'Zix.
Whew, it's going to be difficult.
Exactly. He's massive at this point, able to get his red smite just the same.
We've already seen what Intruder can do when he gets an early lead. He is relentless in his pressure on this Kha'Zix. We'll actually find Swift, who pounces over the wall. That is a mistake coming out from Newbee's jungler. So much damage comes out from Kha'Zix. He tries to leave, but the bug has a longer jump. It pounces straight on top of Swift for another kill for Intruder.
Yes, yes, he does. My God, I said it before. You don't even need to ban it as long as you have the answer, and the answer was showing shining. Oh, here we go.
Wayless flashing on top of Dade will get some damage down, but forces the flash in return to get back to safety. Good gravity field locks down Wayless as well.
But now taking off, I know Karma definitely used her flash to be able to take out Victor's flash, but if your Kha'Zix is that much in a lead, it looks like a bot lane skirmish is happening here. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage down. Moore has the flash break from the final auto attack coming out from PYL. A good exhaust finds Happy to stop the engage being returned upon by Newbee. They do live to tell the tale, but this is a much different LGD in game number 2.
Yeah, definitely. And it's off the back of Intruder. Now that he has the proper pick into this, remember, I said that Nidalee is going to be a stronger pick, especially in 6.15, when you are now matched into your lanes. And so, yeah, you have to... Now it comes down to what matchup are you going up against. And so LGD adapted. They had the Kha'Zix matchup and is able to abuse it.
LGD going to continue pushing in the bottom lane. They do have 1,000 gold lead for themselves just 7 minutes into this match. A nice and early start. All of their gold currently is on Intruder, so that's in his hands to try and take this match for LGD from the very start. Swift trying to still put on his counter jungly shoes and takes away as many camps as possible from Intruder while he's on the bottom side of the map. He will then move swiftly on towards his blue buff, immediately spots it out. Wayless now going to get traded upon by Dade, uses the Chaos Storm to try and separate the distance against this Karma, who ticks away slowly. Chaos Storm just slowly fades back and goes back to Victor.
Yeah, just leaves off into the distance. But yeah, big question now is once Kha'Zix does reach level 6, that's gonna be the real go story right now, because once he gets to that point, any fight that comes on, it's gonna be in Kha'Zix's favor 100%. It already is, but he's gonna be able to just one-shot the Nidalee. So I know now he's 0-2. Swift, you have to get something going.
So many comfort champions coming out from LGD in this game as well. Marin's on his Gnar, Imp's on his Sivir. We even see Intruder on the Kha'Zix. On top of that, we've got the Trundle being picked up by PYL this game. Not so much a comfort champion. He's only played it once this split, but we'll be able to take all the resistance away from V, who is really only the frontline member for Newbee at the moment besides Moore.
Yeah, the only real Trundle supports that we have been seeing is just coming off of Savoki, really. So he is a good laning support up against certain matchups, mostly melee matchups. Oh, this is bad.
Intruder's found V. V wants to stay alive, but Intruder is going on a rampage as he slowly finds pick after pick inside of Newbee's jungle.
He's 4-0. If he goes back, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Youmuu's Ghostblade out of him. He's doing so much for his team, and at this point, it's only getting worse for Newbee.
Disaster of a start for Newbee already as the rest of the map. LGD looks strong, still 10 CS up in the bottom lane for Imp, who's continually trying to push out against Happy and More, forcing the fight against the minion wave every single time it crashes on towards their turret. Even mid lane, Whalers doing well up against Dade. He's 20 CS ahead on this Karma. Make sure he can lock him down constantly with the chains. Get the empowered Q off as well for the extra damage. Swift tries to make his way towards the mid lane. Hits the Q, but because Dade's so low, he can't just quite follow up.
Yeah, exactly. And so right now, because of the amount of pressure Kha'Zix is outputting right now, sure, he has a hard advantage for himself. But in his lanes, now that they know that they're fairly safe, they're able to abuse their matchups. And Karma is a hard lane to deal with, 100%.
Certainly is. He even gets the Empower Q off against Dade there. If that hit him square in center, he would have been taken down. Chaos Storm actually has to get used by Dade just to clear up the minion wave. He is falling further and further behind in CS against Whalers.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. Right now, Karma is a lane-dominant champion, and her strength is going to be coming off of just supporting Intruder later on in the game.
Intruder immediately moves deep in towards the top side of Swift's jungle as PYL rotates up towards the mid lane to try and take down this turret. Trundle Pillar stops Swift and More from advancing. They get good chip damage on towards the turret. It's only really Marin that's doing well in this game for LGD, but by a couple of minions only. So far, sorry, only V is doing well in this match, I should say, by losing by a couple of minions, and even that's not the best thing for Newbee at the moment.
Yeah, they have no winning matchup for themselves. At every point, they are falling behind. So sure, right now, Nidalee is able to farm up quite a bit more than Kha'Zix, but Kha'Zix doesn't need the farm. His kit is strong enough. Right now, he's able to get the gold from just the kills alone, but now that he's level 7, able to rank up his Q, able to just bulldoze through these camps for free, any matchup, any gank he has to offer is just instant damage.
His More throws a Q in the wrong direction, but wasn't able to look for anything in this bottom lane. This is a lot of a stronger start from LGD. Something we expected out of the first game. It didn't happen. Newbee just walked all over them. But in saying that, Newbee, even though they have had a disappointing season, they are still a team that time and time again shows that a goal deficit is not what they care about. They're 2,200 gold behind, but they've fought back from much larger deficits before, Raz.
Yeah, they definitely have. So now the question is, how are they able to come back into it?
As there's an arrow, does not connect onto Intruder, who has to jump away. More immediately flashes on top of him. Chaos Storm has been used as well. Whalers just standing still, but Happy's been jumped on by PYL. He's taking so much damage. He'll have to flash over the wall. More gonna have to jump to safety to try and help it. They're still slowing the Trundle down. Intruder will join the fight. There was a bloodthirsty support from LGD looking to try and pick up the kill, and that just gives Imp time to work on this bottom lane outer turret.
Yeah, and so he's just free farming and just autoing this turret time and time again. Right now, remember, 6.15, you do not want to give up that first tower gold.
But it seems like LGD might have to as Imp tries to take down Happy. They do have Swift and More in this bottom lane trying to look for the engage. Happy still taking a lot of damage. Trundle Pillar spots them out. Intruder was even looking for the flank. That bottom lane turret does fall. Imp going to be able to pick up all the gold from that turret. And even the first turret gold advantage, 650 gold, Raz.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold. He already has a 30 CS lead. Ooh, this is going to be interesting.
Spear almost lands on top of Intruder, but he's the Kha'Zix. He takes down these epic monsters so quickly, and that's an Infernal Dragon pickup with another Infernal Dragon spawning.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits that we've seen from Clearlove, actually. Another Kha'Zix player, really. He does like to play a bit of Kha'Zix, and one of the benefits, of course, is just a fast dragon take. Constantly look to go back, especially since you get that Q on you rank up your Q, evolve it on level 6. You can just do so much percentage damage on these objectives.
And it's not just the Kha'Zix is doing well, it's every single lane for LGD. Marin, he's been able to take red buff away from Swift. Mid lane, outer turret's going to fall down naturally for Wayless if he keeps pushing the way he has. He's 50 CS up ahead of Dade.
Exactly. And here's the bigger point, is that these turrets are coming down. This is the second tower for them. That's just more map control.
And this looks so much more like the LGD we expected heading into game number 1. Looking strong in this second match. They've already swapped Imp up towards the top side of the map, trying to push out the top lane outer turret. Newbee do the exact same thing. They bring Happy to the top side of the map, trying to defend the final outer turret they have left remaining, yet to take down a single structure for themselves. They are 5,000 gold behind LGD, and we are only 13 minutes into this game, Rens.
Yeah, the major gold advantage, and on top of that, they just denied both blue buffs. Imp taking bot side, their blue, and at the same time, Kha'Zix taking Newbee's blue buff. So they're just denying them at every wake, every area they end up entering, and so they found themselves in the enemy blue side jungle, took every camp there, and now they're just backing away.
Melestone might get jumped on by Swift, throws out the spear, lands straight back on top of him, will continue pouncing forward, does get locked down by Wayless and dealt a lot of damage, but here comes a bug. Intruder just leaves server and becomes unstoppable. Top side of the map though, Newbee are winning the 2-on-2. There is a teleport heading into the top lane from Maokai to try and defuse this situation. Intruder's there. Happy is stuck between a rock and a hard place as Moore gets obliterated by the Kha'Zix. Happy will fall down to Marin. Dade using the Chaos Troll, trying to give his team a little bit of space. Wayless has to run away, shield himself up. Will be back on top of the Chaos Storm, but doesn't get taken down. V lives with a sliver of health. With LGD across the map, looking so strong, 7-1 in this match.
Infinitely stronger, able to get a Hex Drinker on himself, and it just does not end here.
Dade's dead. He's stuck between 4 members of LGD and his turret. Pillar's going to separate him from his only escape path, and even though they get so many kills, they're just going to get even more as the top lane outer turret falls for LGD.
Intruder has 7 of the 8 kills for LGD.
That's a lot of kills, Raz.
It's a bit, you know. It's a lot.
7-0, has 50 CS, slightly behind Swift, but that doesn't matter. He's farming champions in this game. He deserves a Magi. Unfortunately, he can't use one quite effectively. But in saying that, they move straight towards the Rift Herald. Marin and Intruder try and take this one down. They've got to juggle this aggro carefully, Raz. A few teams have died to Rift Herald before.
Not sure what you're talking about, buddy.
It will eventually fall down as Intruder picks up the kill, donates the Rift Herald buff on towards Marin. So until 35 minutes and 45 seconds into the game, Marin will be an unstoppable beast if he tries to split push.
Yeah, there's a lot of strength coming out of LGD at the moment, and it just doesn't stop here.
Wayless trying to be jumped on by V here, forced to use the ultimate to try and negate some of the damage that comes out from Karma, but Wayless' spell rotation is nice here. Might be able to pick up the solo kill, and successfully does so against Newbee's top laner.
Yeah, at this point, even the support... Ooh.
It's another arrow going to miss from Happy. Imp uses on the hunt, tries to speed up his team. Swift is waiting in the wings in case LGD get a little bit too aggressive. No help from LGD means they can't successfully defend this top lane outer turret.
Yeah, even the support mage of your mid laner in Wayless has the Athene's Unholy Grail, but able to just solo the Maokai with ease.
So Newbee do get a trade in their favor by trying to take down the top lane outer turret. Moore will stop the Boomerang Blade that comes out from Imp, but at what cost? Because Marin still split pushing in the mid lane. Wayless is getting some damage onto the bot lane outer turret. And Newbee, they are 8,000 gold behind at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's really difficult right now. Perhaps they'll get this kill.
PYL does get caught out. Concussive blows will lock him down. Already used his flash. Imp looking like to be the next target, but here comes Intruder. Jumps on Swift. They will still be able to get down 2 kills. Intruder's been locked down. Happy will fall. Intruder just swipes away the second for the double kill. He's now 9-0. The rest of Newbee trying to chase on towards Marin and Intruder, but they can't quite lock them down. It's a 2-for-2 trade as the AD carry support for both teams fall.
This is night and day from last game. It really is, right? And if there's one way to deter a Nidalee pick, apparently it's this Kha'Zix. And so, Nidalee, last game, solo won them the game, I would have to say. Newbee won off the back of just the Nidalee pressure and just constant movement that we saw at a Newbee. And this time, it was just stopped from the very beginning. And now they're just getting punished from here on out. They actually have the Athene's Unholy Grail Karma split pushing on the bottom side of this map.
They're still looking to try and chase. Marin turns Mega straight back into Mini as he's trying to lock in as many members of Newbee as he possibly could, contesting for this red buff, but they do have Dade and more looking to try and stop this one. Intruder looking for the smite, can't quite get there. Pillar will separate the rest of the team. Good poke damage lands on towards the Kazakhs. So he has to back out of the fight, and China Crisel this time will connect on PYL. He has no flash. Impus here. There is a teleport coming to the back lines from Whalers. Here's a very big Karma. Lands a massive Q. Looking to chase them down. Boomerang Blade from Imp. Going to deal a lot of damage. Here comes Marin. Intruder's coming in, but it's a double kill that gets picked up by Whalers. And LGD turn on the gas here as they try to take down the mid lane in the turret.
They can do no wrong, apparently. They're going straight for it. Now they're heading towards the inhib turret.
Moore was looking to try and back greedily. Wayless just zones them away with the Enchanted Q. This inhibitor turret's going to fall. We're not even 20 minutes into this game, Raz. And LGD are putting up such a great fight in the second match.
Yeah, you better bet once the clock strikes 20, we're going to be seeing a few surrender votes. Let's see how it works out for Newbee.
Look at the damage done on that fight. Wayless teleported in, hit a massive Q. And you've said this already, he's an Athene's Karma. Not the most ability power, but he's still wrecking through Newbee.
Yeah, he's built to support Intruder, but at this point, he hasn't done any of that. He's walked to the bottom lane, looked to split push, and here comes the TP because, of course, PYL does get picked, does get completely chipped down, but they just waited. They were incredibly patient.
And they use everything to kill them too.
Boom! It's a bit much. And so it just felt like Newbee was trying to get out of that position. Marin slows them both and double kill. Amazing play coming out of that one.
Perfect coming out from Wayless. He had a good game one despite the loss for LGD and is having an even better game number two. But nothing can take the spotlight away from Intruder, who is 9-0-1. Newbee, they wanted to contest for this Dragon, but they have to back away immediately. Look at this cheeky Marin, split pushing in the mid lane, trying to cut up Newbee's retreat. LGD, though, will take down an Infernal Dragon for themselves, their second Dragon of this game. 20 minutes in, they are 10,000, almost 11,000 gold up with 2 Infernal Dragons, Raz. This is a catastrophe for Newbee.
They're 10k gold ahead in 20 minutes into the game. That's actually just massive. Someone please give me a record of what's the largest advantage we've seen in a team in just 20 minutes into the game. Because currently, I feel like we're hitting it. It's like this is a bit much. So now the honest question is, Newbee, how are you going to be able to come back, especially with a Nidalee? And Nidalee as a pick is great early, right? Once you get the early advantage, you're flying high. Once you fall behind, especially up, like regardless of how, right now they're incredibly far behind. That's regardless of that. You are not, even your poke is not going to be doing anything.
Even Imp's doing well in his champion so far. Has the 2-item Power Spike, looking for his Infinity Edge as his next item. The flip side, Happy still sitting on his Runan's Hurricane as well as a BF Sword, so not much damage will be coming out from this Ashe just from his items alone. LGD looking to try and push through the bottom lane in a turret. They already took down the inhibitor in the mid lane to relieve some of the pressure that Newbee could send out to defend this. And they just backdoor it. They run straight into the turret, take it down.
Yeah, and that just comes from the investment Wayless put in this bottom lane looking to split. It really does come back to this investment. Every chip damage you put onto a turret means something in the longer run of things, especially if you're this far ahead. So now they're pressuring this inhib tower, and they can do it whenever they want because they have the superior poke.
And one empowered Q that comes out from Karma takes Happy down to half his health. Doesn't even get the second proc of the Q as well in order to do that. Looking so strong in this game for LGD. 12,000 gold up. Newbee are fighting. They're trying to fight to stay alive in this second match, but it's a much cleaner victory that LGD are having here so far if they pick up the win in comparison to what Newbee did in game one.
Yeah, this is kind of like a metaphor to LGD's regular season. They lose the first game, you know, they had a little bit of a boo-boo in the early state of the season.
Okay, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. We all said boo-boo once in our childhood. But yeah, now they're coming back, and it feels like they definitely have the answers. You'd think they'd have the answers for the first game for Nidalee. They're definitely not. But you know what? At least they found it now.
Well, we are 23 minutes into this match, so Baron has been up and online for some time. LGD have done a good job of controlling Newbee's red side of the jungle, so they have good vision control over this Baron pit and could pull the trigger at any time, especially with a Kha'Zix being picked up. And look at this, Wayless, he's put it on his best Dade impersonation. He has a Magi Soul Stealer for himself.
Yeah, exactly. 3, 0, and 5. Pretty much telling him Dade, you know what? You can do it too. On top of that, Kha'Zix does end up getting the Yomu's Ghostblade, as I said, so that works out well for him. Any fight could work. That was his first damage item since the Hex Drinker, so ended up going for the Merc Treads immediately. So now he actually has a lot of spring to his step.
LGD instead opt not to go for the Baron, but want to push for the top lane inner turret, the final inner turret of this match that is left for LGD to take down against Newbee, and it goes down so quickly.
Yeah, they have to concede every single bit of these outer turrets. They can't, and the inner turrets as well. They can't really do much about it. The only thing that they really need to contest is this Baron.
13,000 gold though, Raz, and the LGD pull the trigger on towards the Baron. Intruder takes a little bit of damage, but gets healed up by the Athena's Unholy Grail that comes out from Wayless and kills the Scuttle Crab for himself, healing up back nicely to almost full health. But it seems like LGD just want to try and bait out this from Newbee. They still have one Trigger Ward available on Happy, as well as a couple of Hawk shots from Ash to try and spot out an attempt from LGD. But they've already pulled the trigger. They've got good damage on towards the Baron buff. There's that second Trigger Ward just spotting out LGD start. This has already got it to half health. Intruder takes it down really quickly. The spear will connect, so V could be trying to flash into the pit. Here comes Swift, gets Mega Nut into the wall, and Baron does fall. Mara's taking up a lot of damage. Happy's been jumped up by Intruder, forced to flash over the wall to get back to safety. The rest of LGD are now going over the pit. They've got 2 kills already. There's a teleport coming to the back lines. Mara gets another. Imp gets a double kill. And suddenly they will be able to take down Imp, but at what cost? Because Swift dies as well. There's still 4 members strong of LGD with a Baron buff. And Raz, they could end the game right here.
100% they can, and they will. That's a major spike for them. And they end up, like, sure, you lose Imp, but you have an AD threat in Intruder, so that doesn't really mean too much.
And they're pushing for the first Nexus turret. Only Happy is left up and alive. The death timers are incredibly long. More will come back up, but it's just a support to try and defend the open Nexus. The final inhibitor turret will fall. They're chasing for the Nexus. LGD might actually have to back off here, as the rest of Newbee do respawn and contest for their finish.
I guess they didn't have enough AD. Just kidding. Just a prank. Definitely backing away from that Nexus altogether. The death timers weren't long enough, and losing Imp did mean that they just lost too much damage.
They're getting close to 20,000 gold up here, Raz. 17,000 gold in the lead at the moment, LGD. And it's only 25 minutes into the match. Something happened between Game 1 and Game 2. Whoever the coach of LGD is has given them a really nice pep talk. It has to be in this second match.
I mean, it has to be Intruder that really just was... I mean, if you're a jungler and you're going up against that matchup, you can't really do anything about it. As a Rek'Sai, you have to be the most frustrated person, because definitely as a Rek'Sai player, having to deal with the Nidalee constantly up on your face.
So it was a give me Kha'Zix and I will carry situation for LGD?
Oh, 100%. And the coach just met him halfway. He said, you know what? We'll just give you counter pick. He's like, deal.
Immediately, Intruder moves towards the Dragon Pit. We'll pick up the third Dragon for LGD. Night and day performance in game number 2. Close to 20,000 gold up. 3 Dragons, a Baron buff, and 17-5 in kills. LGD looking to finish up this game clinically and incredibly strong against Newbee in this best of 5 series.
Yeah, and it seems like Newbee stacking up in a bush. Good old...
the Dev Rush. They want it.
Oh my!
They spot him out, but they do lock down Intruder. Tries to jump on the wall. He will get taken down. Lives for incredibly long. He's still alive there, but finally will go down. Newbee now looking for this fight. They can fight for large deficits, but it's 20,000 gold. One of them because Marin's Mega. 3 people into the wall from Marin. Gets a big wallop as well, as the ace will come out for LGD. Intruder is the sacrificial lamb, but now they're pushing straight in towards the Nexus, and LGD tie up the series 1-1.
There we go. That's the surrender, I would suppose, because that's the game for you. Legendary is true. They came up big in that game. They're showing that this is a true threat team in all roles.
They certainly are. Night and day performance for LGD, but a clinical game number 2 victory in this best of 5 series. That graphic this time round is correct because LGD do pick up the win.
There we go. Even the production had to get that one correct. They were like, yeah, you know what? I guess they did win. Guess they didn't win that one.
So LG able to tie up the series 1-1 and is really coming from that jungle Raz because we talked about Swift getting his Nidalee in game number 1, but Intruder getting his Kha'Zix in game 2 was an absolute disaster.
Exactly. And the bad thing about this is Swift even brought Dade into that situation to get double killed too. So if you're going to get an invade, look at him. Of course you're going to be happy. Why are they invading you? Actually, like that's really dumb. And so now he gets that double kill. That was just throughout the game. From the very beginning to the end, he was a major threat. And in this one, in this specific situation, comes into from the right while this entire fight's happening. So you saw a lot of prong fights going on one side and another. PYL holding happy here. Meanwhile, Intruder getting kills on the right on top of Braum. They kept going. It really just did not end from that point.
Did not stop. He was leaping and hopping all over the place. The only thing that Newbee really got out of that is they ruined his perfect KDA in that second match. But still, start to finish, LGD looked a lot stronger. Ended the game with a 20,000 gold lead.
Yeah. And so I don't really like to blame pick ban. I never really do. One big point was that if you have Nidalee, Twisted Fate up against the Syndra, Syndra's always great, but going to be ignored, honestly, right? And then we saw the Rek'Sai. Nidalee versus Rek'Sai, we saw a lot of good pressure on that one.
And we even saw Wailers coming out big here. Big, empowered Q, and he showed his prowess in this champion, not just in teamfights, but even in one-on-one situations against the like of V, showing that it's another champion in his arsenal that teams have to be afraid of.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, you just have to be afraid of Wayless because he has a lot of champions he'll go to. Doesn't even matter. Sometimes if you just get on purple side, he'll just decide one game randomly. I'm just going to play Teemo. It's not even going to be a misclick. It's just going to be me clicking the champion.
It's just going to be the next champion that Wayless decides to confuse everyone with. I mean, we've seen him play Corki already in the mid lane, which is a champion we haven't seen played for a long time here. But with that, LG were able to pick up a Game 2 victory in this Specify series against Newbee. We still have Game 2 to come up in just a bit.